To me, it is about achieving perfection.
Mark Dacascos was a martial artist, actor, director, and television host who peaked in popularity in the 90s. The virtuoso fighter fought back his movie opponents, causing millions of guys around the world to admire his skills. Although today his name is no longer among the brightest stars of Hollywood, he continues to work even though not as actively as before. Learn more about the life of the action legend in this video. How Mark Dacascos lives and where he is now. Mark Allen Dacascos was born February 26, 1964 in Honolulu, Hawaii, in the family of Kung Fu master Albert Dacascos and his apprentice Mariko McVeigh. It is known that many family members of the actor's mother were killed during the bombing of Hiroshima. In his veins flows Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, Irish, and Spanish blood, which was later often used by directors. During his career, he played a Chinese, Japanese, Kazakh, and even a Mexican guy. It is noteworthy that his father was Mark's first mentor in comprehension of martial arts, which he began to study at the age of 4. The future actor's mother did not take part in her son's upbringing, leaving him to his grandparents. He lived with them until the age of 6, spending his childhood on the warm and sunny Hawaiian coast. Then his father remarried and took the boy to the United States. Stepmother Malia Bernal treated Mark with love and became a kindred spirit to him. After the move, he was trained in the kung fu schools opened by his father and his new wife, and built relationships with his half-brother, Greg, whom he still considers his best friend. It is worth noting that Malia, whom Mark later began to call his real mother, was a master of martial arts, was one of the top 10 American fighters, held the title of U.S. Women's Kung Fu Champion for 5 years, and was the first woman to make the cover of the popular magazine Black Belt. Under her guidance, little Mark learned all the subtleties of the arts of combat. From the age of 7, the boy began to participate in martial arts competitions and won his first tournament when he was 9. And it is not surprising because Mark attended daily training in judo, kenpo, boxing, and karate. He also earned a black belt in the one-hop-ken self-defense system, which was invented by his father. A combination of various techniques and holds, supplemented by the techniques of Brazilian capoeira, were later successfully used by Dacascos in films with his participation. He spent most of his childhood in fights and sparring, where he performed at his best. Meanwhile, Mark's parents were recognized as the best kung fu teachers in the United States and were invited by Germany to share their experiences with their European counterparts. So, when the boy was 10 years old, the whole family moved to Hamburg, where he, together with his half-brother, had to attend the local school where their native English had the status of an elective subject. The strict German atmosphere was foreign to the boys, but they tried to learn. As Mark later recalled, it was not easy for him to get used to the new way of life. Nevertheless, he mastered German and French and was popular with his peers for his athletic achievements. At 15 years of age, the future actor began playing the drums, and when he turned 17, he sold the drum set, collected all the accumulated money, and went to Taiwan to study the fighting styles of Shaolin monks. In an interview, Dacascos said that he was searching for his path then. He was interested in the inner core of man, so he studied various religions and philosophies. And after watching the movie Shaolin Temple starring Jet Li, he considered becoming a Buddhist monk himself. However, he was not destined to become a monk. It was all just because of a lack of money and hunger. He lived in a foreign country where he paid rent, tuition at a Chinese school, and kung fu lessons. After that, he had less than $1.50 to live on, which could be spent either on transportation or food. To somehow survive, he began teaching English and German, and after 6 months, he turned to his father for help and was happy to work with him. Thus, the world lost a monk, but gained an excellent martial artist and actor. On his return to America, the young man became interested in capoeira, a sport of wrestling with elements of dance. Heartbreak after the breakup with his girlfriend led him to it. He switched to a new occupation to get out of his depressed state. Nevertheless, Mark's athletic career was on the upswing. By the age of 18, he had participated in more than 200 tournaments throughout Europe and the United States, racking up prestigious titles one after another. For instance, he won the Hamburg Karate Championship twice and won the Italian and European Karate tournaments. The boy did not forget his education either. For instance, he studied Chinese and drama at the University of Portland, where his father taught him. When Mark was 19, he acted in his first play, in which he was motivated by a childhood dream to become a writer. Dacascos got into movies by accident in the mid-1980s. Walking with his girlfriend one day through San Francisco's Chinatown, he was stopped by two guys asking if he wanted to be in a movie. Mark thought there was some kind of catch and refused, but on the advice of his stepmother, he still called back on the phone number they left, came to the audition, and got the role of the boyfriend of a beautiful Chinese woman played by actress Joan Chen. Despite the fact that all the scenes with Mark in the movie Dim Sum a Little Bit of Heart were cut out, his interest in acting had already been piqued. In addition, the young athlete gained the necessary experience in movies as well as making connections in Hollywood. Like many stars, though, Mark started out with small roles in TV series and low-budget movies such as Ninja Academy, City of Angels, Doogie Howser, MD, and The Flash. For several years, he starred in minor projects until in 1992, the actor was invited to one of the leading roles in the movie American Samurai.
You dropped out of the sky into the path of my life. It is our mutual destiny that only one of us continues on that path.
Before shooting this picture, Mark, who had an athletic physique with a height of 5'9" and weighs from 143 to 154 pounds, had to put on 13 pounds because he seemed too thin to the director. And at the casting for the role in American Samurai, an unpleasant incident occurred with Dacascos. At that time, he did not yet have a fake samurai sword, and the actor had borrowed the item from a friend. And after the demonstration of his martial arts capabilities, he noticed that everyone was looking at him terrified. Mark's wrist was bleeding like a stream. It turned out that the samurai sword was the real thing. After the spectacle, the producers signed 6 contracts with him, even though his sacrifice to the art was a cut muscle and tendon. From that time, the rapid ascent of the new star of action films began. A significant work of the novice actor was the shooting of the 1993 action movie Only the Strong.
How much are they paying you on the high school?
I got a roof over my head. That's all I need right now.
Joselito Amen Santo, the instructor who taught capoeira to Mark himself, played the capoeira teacher for the character of Dacascos. In 1994, the sci-fi action film Double Dragon was released, where the actor played one of the main roles.
We don't really have to wear these, do we? Oh man, these are great. I can't buy suits like this off the rack. Of course, I don't have to wear the blue one.
Then he starred in the 1995 action movie Redemption Kickboxer 5. Its creators planned to shoot the 6th part of the film, where the main role was again to be played by Dacascos, but since the 5th did not bring a decent profit, this idea was rejected. In his next picture, Crying Freeman, Mark staged the final sword fight himself along with the director.
I'm a potter. Good pots are made from good clay, and a good potter always makes his own. You see, the trick is to find the right mud. I dry it, lump it into small pieces, and carefully sift it.
It is noteworthy that the actor performed all his stunts himself. It was this film, based on the popular Japanese manga which won the Audience Award at the Swedish Fantastic Film Festival, is considered one of the best in his career. Incidentally, Mark met his future wife, actress Julie Condra, on an airplane when they flew together to the filming of this particular action movie. Between the two young people immediately developed an affection that grew into more profound feelings. This was followed by Deadly Past, The Island of Dr. Moreau, Sabotage, DNA, Deathline, Boogie Boy, No Code of Conduct, Sanctuary stands out in particular. Among these films, the sci-fi action movie Drive, which is also considered one of the best films of Dacascos' career.
What do we do now? Back to plan A. What's plan A? Don't get shot. Good plan.
In 1998, the actor played the lead role in the mystery television series The Crow, replacing Brandon Lee, who died on the set of the movie of the same name.
Hours become heavier, weighted, and the shadows smile.
The series was closed after the first season, although it had high ratings and was well received by fans. Works on the series mainly took place in Vancouver, and, as in the case of the film, it was not without tragedy, as one of the stuntmen died. But the highlight of the year for Mark was his wedding with Julie Condra, which took place on January 5th. This is how the handsome man, who in many early interviews repeatedly said that he was not created for marriage and is unlikely to ever take on such a responsibility, crossed his name off the list of eligible bachelors. The actor did not want to have children, which has also been repeatedly mentioned in the media. The reason for this, according to the celebrity, was the example of his own father, who was married 6 times and had many children from different women. By the way, Mark has 2 half-brothers and 3 sisters, but when he met the charming Julie, his instincts told him that she would be a great mother, which turned out to be true. In 1999, the actor starred in an episode of the 2nd season of the popular comedy series Martial Law and played a major role in the thriller The Base. In 2000, the acting couple had their first child, who was named Mekoalani Charles. Later came the second son Kopono and daughter Noalani. Moreover, all the children were born in Hawaii, Mark's homeland. In 2000, the filmography of Dacascos was enriched by the main role in the Hong Kong action movie China Strike Force. In the early 21st century, interest in action films waned, and the actor gradually began to switch to a deeper role, but for the most part, not far away from the image of Macho Man. He starred in Instinct to Kill, Scorcher, and an episode of the TV series CSI Crime Scene Investigation, but the most striking work of the period was a historical film with Monica Bellucci and Vincent Cassel, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Are you able to reproduce with a woman of our race?
All women have same color when candle is out.
Specifically for the filming of this picture, Mark trained on horseback, but the most difficult thing for him was to work in the cold. As the actor admitted, he was shivering on set, and his breath was vapor, and the only relief for him was a tent with a heater. 2 years after shooting Brotherhood of the Wolf, he was offered a role in another film with Monica. Dacascos was tempted by the huge fees, which were not offered to him in his entire film career, but the script was just terrible, so he decided to call Monica Bellucci to get her opinion on it. The actress said that despite the good money they were offered, if they did this film, it might be their last work in the industry. One of Mark's acting successes was his work in the movie Cradle to the Grave in 2003. In this action movie, Dacascos played the villain, and his colleagues on the set were Jet Li and rapper DMX.
I don't have time for this.
That's your last offer?
I can be a very dangerous man, Mr. Fate.
In 2005, Nomad, an international project with the participation of Dacascos, was released. The film is based on the Kazakh history of the 18th century and was produced in Russia, Kazakhstan, France, and the USA. In it, Mark plays a dark character, and at the premiere of the film in Kazakhstan at the scene of his death, spectators in the hall were so happy that it made Dacascos even a little bit uncomfortable.
Did you pray, Kazakh? For you are about to die.
Am I? You tried this 20 years ago.
In the same year, he also appeared in the family film Final Approach. Earlier, the actor began to host a cooking TV show, Iron Chef America. The show was broadcast on the American cable TV channel Food Network until 2018, and the actor admits that over the years he has not become a skilled chef, but he can safely be called a foodie. After all, he had to try 10 dishes per episode. Mark then went on to star in the war drama Only the Brave, the Canadian TV disaster film Solar Attack, and the 2-part military action film The Hunt for Eagle One. In 2007, the actor took part in the dubbing of the video game Stranglehold, starred in the crime comedy codenamed The Cleaner, the sci-fi action movie Alien Agent, and the thriller Am Omega. The latter was released on the eve of the premiere of I Am Legend in order to share its box office success. In addition, Dacascos appeared in 2 seasons of the series Stargate Atlantis, and also became the host of a new cooking show called The Next Iron Chef. This was followed by roles in the TV series The Middleman and a biographical TV project about martial arts in China called The Legend of Bruce Lee. based on the life story of the epic actor and martial arts master. In 2009, he appeared in the action film Serbian Scars and the horror film Wolfsbane. In addition, Mark's fans watched him with interest in Season 9 of the popular show Dancing with the Stars. In 2010, the actor starred in the action movie Shadows in Paradise, and the next most striking project with his participation was the crime drama with action elements Hawaii Five-0. The television series, where Mark starred in his hometown and played a bad guy, was broadcast until 2020.
Unfortunately, Shelburne continues to elude us both.
Is that right? What about Anna Douglas?
She's dead, isn't she?
One of the unusual and interesting experiences for the actor was his participation in the popular and incredibly successful web series Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Bar's closed.
I don't need a drink. But if you let my friend go, I promise not to injure you any further.
In 2013, Mark appeared in the family fantasy The Lost Medallion: The Adventures of Billy Stone. Also this year, the celebrity's filmography was expanded with roles in the TV series Chicago PD, the comedy The Expendables, and the action film Roger Corman's Operation Rogue. In 2015, he joined the cast of the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where he got the role of the head of the security service. A year later, Mark Dacascos tried his hand as a director, shooting the picture Showdown in Manila. He also acted as one of the main roles and the fight choreographer together with his father.
You want another one?
Yes, please.
The film, with a budget of $3.5 million, was released in the winter of 2016 under the umbrella of the Alexander Nevsky Production Center, but it did not collect even $2 million at the box office. In the same year, Dacascos played a small role in an episode of the 5th season of the popular series Lucifer and appeared in the action movie Beyond the Game. In 2017, he starred in the action film Maximum Impact. This film also failed at the box office and has a low rating on IMDb. Much more successful for Dacascos was his participation in the films of the same year, Ultimate Justice, The Perfect Bride, and the series The Way. In 2018, the actor voiced a character in the cartoon Monster Island, and in the spring, it became known that he signed a contract with the creators of the John Wick franchise and will star in a sequel to the cult action movie. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum was released in cinemas in May 2019.
I gotta tell you, I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. I'm a huge fan. John Wick.
And in the same year, Mark played a monk in the Netflix series Wu Assassins, appeared in the comedy action movie Lucky Day, and starred with his wife in the zombie movie The Driver. In 2020, Dacascos expanded his filmography with a role in One Night in Bangkok, and in 2021, he took part in the voiceover of the animated film based on the DC Comics Batman: Soul of the Dragon. In 2022, Dacascos appeared in the action films Blade of the 47 Ronin and The Ray. On April 28, 2023, a fantasy film starring the actor called The Knights of the Zodiac will be released. Today, Mark is a loving and faithful husband and a caring father of 3 children. Also, the actor has dogs. The eldest son of the celebrity, whom the family calls Koa, is fond of music, perfectly plays the saxophone and the piano. In addition, under his father's guidance, he is mastering kung fu and Thai boxing and also began to act in films. The second son, Kopono, has good math and soccer skills, and the youngest in the family, daughter Noelani, likes to read Shakespeare and dreams of becoming an actress. The artist considers playing the guitar to be his hobby, which he began to learn during the filming of the TV series The Crow. He also likes to play the drums. In his free time, he writes poems, scripts, and stories, continues to learn foreign languages, trains as an actor and athlete, and does yoga and surfing. Mark loves to travel and learn about other cultures. He has been to Japan, Malaysia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Hungary, Israel, Canada, France, Africa, and the Philippines. He lived in Nepal for a month, visited Hong Kong and China. In addition to filmmaking, Dacascos participates in the Alexander Nevsky Public Project to promote healthy lifestyles in schools in the Tula region. The actor himself has never taken drugs and almost never drinks alcohol. The actor also has a business connected with nutrition, food brand Culinary Champions, which he actively promotes on Instagram. Speaking of advertising, in 2007, Dacascos became the face of American cigarettes, Samurai, which does not really fit in with the healthy lifestyle. The actor has a fortune of $2 million. Together with his family, he lives in his own house in Southern California, the interior furnishings of which are made in light brown and milky colors. The interior has a lot of furniture in dark and light shades, mostly brown. Around the house is an open area, a large part of which is set aside for the playground. Dacascos sold his previous home in Westlake Village in 2016 for $1.45 million. He bought it in the early 2000s for $741,000. The spacious kitchen and dining room were clearly worthy of the Iron Chef, and the dwelling's privacy was ensured by tall trees. There is no information about the celebrity's other properties as well as his cars, but it is possible that he owns a Chevrolet S10 pickup truck, which he advertised at the peak of his career. Do you think we'll see more breakthrough movies starring Mark Dacascos? If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything interesting.